get too much in their mind what marriage is. It's not like I thought. It's never like you think. The day you get married, hell's going to show up. You know, things are going to happen. You got to be more than a conqueror and an overcomer. You got to go the second mile. You got to stay awake late at night and help somebody when they're puking their guts out in the toilet and you're laying hands, rebuking the devil and pleading the blood and pouring Pepto-Bismol down by the gallon. You know, and it's what you do. You're trying to find somebody you want to serve the rest of your life. This is not some stupid Hollywood movie. It's better. It's a God thing. He that finds a wife finds a good thing. It's not good for a man to be alone. I'll make him a helper. You get the whole word in there. Not hell, helper. And it's a good thing. You need one another. You're never going to agree on anything. Opposites attract. So that's just sort of the laying salvo. We're going to take a break, then we're going to come back. I'm going to take about 30 minutes, and I'm going to give you just some really funny differences between men and women, because you need to know you will never be the same. The longer you're married, the more you're going to differ. I flew all my kids down to Melbourne, Florida, my 30th wedding anniversary. Flew them down, had 4 kids with me, 2 kids are in college. I paid money, flew them down. We're in a 5-star seafood restaurant. I love seafood. I've always loved seafood. I took my wife to a seafood restaurant every anniversary because that's what my dad did with my mom. Because we grew up in Tennessee, there's no seafood in Tennessee, so it's special. So I've done it for 30 years. We've got a seafood restaurant. We're sitting in this magnificent 5-star restaurant. We got our own private room. Everybody's waiting on us. We're laughing and eating hors d'oeuvres, and they brought our fish to us. And I noticed my wife wasn't eating her fish. And, honey, you okay? She said, yeah. I said, is this a good seafood restaurant? Yeah, baby, it's 5-star. It took 2 weeks to get in here. It's a nice place. Is there something wrong? She said, I just realized something. I said, what? I'm not making this up. She said, I don't like seafood. I said, well, sure you do, honey. You've been eating for 30 years. And I'm not being funny. She said, no, Joe, I just thought you never could find a good restaurant. Well, if this is a good one, I don't like seafood. Now, my kids, my college daughters are there. And my college daughter, she's a college professor. They said, dear Lord, Dad, and you teach on marriage. Yes, and I'm adding this to the seminar right here. It's going to be a new story. And so for the rest of our life, we ate beef. So it took 30 years to realize the wife of my life, the mother of my 6 children, did not like seafood. Now, we're going to help you tomorrow on the communication thing. I tell couples, you need to take 1 day a week for 30 minutes, sit down with a cup of coffee and a hot tea, and just talk to one another. Hey, sugar. So I've got a list. I'll give it to you tomorrow. Simple, but 12 things. Hey, what do you think about this? This going okay? I don't want deep conversation. And I tell couples, if you'll do this once a week for 30 minutes, just drink coffee, sip. You don't have to fix your hair, makeup, just sit down and, hey, it's time to do the marriage thing. Hey, what do you think about the house we live in? What do you think about the job I have? What's going on with the in-laws? Everything good there? You know, what about our health? And what about our sex life? We'll talk about it. And we're just looking for some bullet points. And every time you will get shocked. Well, I didn't know you thought that. You never asked me. Well, I thought this. You never asked me. And we get so busy trying to pay the bills and keep everything going, and the farm running and the business running, we don't spend time. If we do get home, let's turn on the clicker. God, let's watch something. Let's eat something. Let's go to bed early. By the way, you'll hear me say it tomorrow. You need to be having sex on a really regular basis. And if you're not, hell's coming. God invented sex. He thought it up. It was his idea. Always gets quiet when you say that in church, but God made all the parts to go with sex. He made the male part and the female part, and he made them do what they do. That's why there's an orgasm. You don't hear that in church much either. And so the goal is having an orgasm. You know you rang the bell. Ding, 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 ding. And so if you're not open and honest with one another, you're probably not ever going to have very many orgasms. And you need to. I tell people the reason there's just as many affairs among Christians as there are in the world because people are not taking care of business at home. 1 Corinthians 7, your job is to meet your spouse's sexual need. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 7, your body doesn't belong to you, it belongs to your spouse. And people laugh when I say it. I tell my wife, hey, get naked, get in here. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. I don't need a rose or, I don't need a shower or a carnation or special music. Just get naked. I'm a man. And my wife would teach. The last seminar we did together, Kentucky, she would say, listen, I've asked Joe before, and she would do this. We'd be home, we got kids, college and high school. Joe, you need anything? I said, what? You need anything? No, I'm good. I'm great. No. I said, Joe, you sure you don't need anything? I said, babe, I'm great. What is it? Do you need anything? Oh, sure. Matter of fact, I would. And she'll tell the lady, listen, I can grab Joe, take him to the bedroom. 5 minutes later, he'll be asleep, and I can go back to doing what I was doing. And that's not being crude. That's just taking care of business. Now, a minute, I might as well just say this. No, I'll say it tomorrow because it gets too graphic. But, by the way, when you leave tonight, we have to take a break and then we'll be over because we've only got 30 minutes left. When you leave tonight, don't you quote a single thing you heard me say, or you'll be in a fight before you get home. No, seriously, because what you heard is not what your spouse heard. And what they heard is not what you heard. God's a very creative God. The worst fight I ever had in my life was when we went to a marriage seminar 3.5 years into our first marriage. We were in seminar, and I didn't want to go, and I'm mad, and I was stinking marriage seminar, a bunch of sissy hand-holding whatever, I got stuff. So it's a 3-day seminar outside of Atlanta at a big 4-H camp, and we're driving home back to Chattanooga, and I'm quiet, she's quiet, and I thought, I need to apologize. And I didn't want to come, but I learned a lot. It's good. I really appreciate you bringing it. She said, well, Joe, to be honest with you, I just came for you because I thought you needed it, but I realized I learned some stuff and I needed this too. Yeah, wasn't that great what that guy said in that last session? And I shared what he said. And so she sat there real quiet. He said, well, Joe, he didn't say that. He said this. Now I'm driving. We're driving up toward Dalton, Georgia. I said, well, honey, I don't know what class you were in, but the class I was in, he said this. And by the time we got to the Tennessee state line, we were screaming at one another, ready for a divorce. Dear God, that's the problem. You never listen. You're an idiot. And so don't quote a thing tonight or tomorrow that you heard me say. Just smile. What you think about that? Take a break. We'll come back in. I'll just keep you for 15 minutes. Take a quick break for 10 minutes. When I was in basic training in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, way back when, my drill instructor got one day and said, man, I didn't know Southerners talk fast. I said, I don't talk fast. I talk normal. No, you talk fast. I said, no. So I talk normal. I said, my dad had 12 brothers and sisters. There's more women in the house than men. If you wanted to say something, you had to say it quick. You don't take turns in my house. You got to get your mouth moving. And so I'm trying to slow down. My wife's trying to help me, but I'm working on it. So this is what I'm going to read. Everything I'm about to read comes out of the public library, your local public library. Because people say, where'd you get that stuff? Public library. It's really got a lot of good books in it. Y'all check it out sometime. And most of them are free. Your tax dollars are working, and they are. They are. So anyhow, I'm going to read this, and then we'll stand up and I'll pray over and get dismissed. This is the difference in men and women. People are always astonished when I do this. Now, I have a whole weekend 6-hour seminar that I do this, just the differences in men and women. And we've done it in Portland, Oregon, New York City. It's the biggest response of any seminar I've ever done because people don't realize you married your opposite by God's design. So quit fighting over stupid stuff because you're not going to change them. I remember one time, I've been married 12 years, and I went into the kitchen, and I told my wife, I said, I just realized something. She said, what? I said, you're not going to change, are you? Now, I'm not being funny. I'm serious. And she was watching this. She looked around and said, no, I'm not. Is that a revelation to you? I said, yes, it is. I said, I realized I've been wasting a lot of time trying to change you, and since you're not going to change, that frees up a lot of time. I can start working on me. She said, that'd be a good idea. And that turned out. Anyhow, this public library. Number one, boys like things, girls like people. Boys compete, girls cooperate. Women value relationships, men value work. Men are lunch chasers, women are nest defenders. Men are performance-oriented, women are relationship-oriented. Brain tests show that when a man's brain is in its resting state, 70% of the electrical activity shuts off. When a woman's brain is at the resting activity, 90% still working. And so it's like a woman's brain never shuts down. That's why women say, man, the house burned down, you'd never know it. I said, no, you wouldn't. So your job is to smell the smoke, wake him up, and he'll put out the fire. It's a co-op. You work together. People laughing, it's just the truth. A woman knows her children's friends, their hopes, their dreams, their romances, their secret fears, what they're thinking, how they're feeling. Men are vaguely aware of some short people living in the house. Women have 2 X chromosomes, which gives them a greater sense of variety of color. Men only have 1. And so that's why we don't pick out. Men only see the rainbow. We don't see chartreuse. That's just watered down purple. I don't know what that is. We can't pick out colors. We're not good at that. So ladies, don't ever send your husband to the paint store. He's going to mess it up, I promise. Insurance statistics show that female drivers are 4 times less likely to be hit from the side in a car accident than men are. Or we say it the ugly way, men are 4 times more likely to be broadsided in a car accident than women are. Why? They can't see it coming. Men have long-range vision. Women have 180-degree peripheral vision. God gave women peripheral vision. They went over the kids are at all times. Men don't care where they are as long as they're not in front of him. Now, we're laughing, but this is all out of the library. I'm not making this up. They took 50 couples. This was in England years ago. Took 50 couples, and they sent them to the grocery store with a list of food to buy. Sent them to an apartment they had prepared and told them to fix the food and sit down and eat the meal. And they all got paid a pretty good chunk of money to do that. 50 different couples. And said they noticed 47 of the 50 men, once they sat down, they had told the women, once you sit down, ask your husband to get up and go find the butter in the refrigerator and bring it to the table. Now, they've just bought this food. They've just put it in the refrigerator. They've gone together to shop. It's a nice apartment that nobody lives in, except it's got furniture in it. And so 47 of the 50 men, the women knew, the men didn't know, honey, would you go get the butter out of the refrigerator? Sure. When men go to the refrigerator, men are hunters. And so when a man gets to the refrigerator, he'll get to the refrigerator and he'll squat down. He gets there and he'll open that door, he'll squat down. He's looking for that butter because it's hiding in here somewhere. Now the butter is sitting right on the second shelf right in front. He's looking. And 47 out of the 50 men said, hey, sugar, there's not any butter in here. Where'd you put it? No, honey, it's right in front of it. No, it's not here. And the wife comes in and she picks it up right in front of her. That's why men can't find their socks in their drawer or their billfold in the morning. Where's my socks at? They're in your drawer. No, I look. And so I tell men, if your wife takes the socks in the door, when you go to your door, just back up. Oh, there they are. Because men have long-range vision. We can't see what's right in front of us, and that's just a medical fact. And so God made us different by his design. I think that's just downright entertaining. For every man who can sing in tune, 8 women can sing in tune. That's why there are not many men in the choir. Women hear 5 tones, men only hear 3. That's why you will never hear a man say, but you will hear a woman say, don't use that tone of voice with me. And he'll say, what tone? I didn't hear it. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. He doesn't hear it, ladies. He was made different. Ooh, that's good. A woman's skin is 10 times more sensitive to touch than a man's skin. That's why when you see teenagers on a date, girls are hanging off the guys. Guys are hanging off girls. Girls are hanging off the guys. They're touching, they're hugging, and I said, boys think, man, this woman's hot. She wants me. No, she'd do the same thing for a bunny rabbit, a puppy dog, a kitty cat, a baby dog. She's just that way. She's just into touch. Men aren't into that, ladies. Their skin's different. That was good. We don't want to get into that. That's deep. Let's go here. Take a brain scan of a man when he's reading, and you'll find out that he's virtually deaf. Women think when a man's reading a newspaper and she's thinking, breakfast, horrible time. She said, well, he's sitting still, I can talk to him. And he'll just, and finally she'll say, are you listening to me? No, he's deaf when he's reading. You see a man when he's watching a ball game on TV. Many a woman's in it. Watching a ball game. And she'll sit there, she'll say, hey, sugar. And then they'll just like they'll do. What? You love football more than you love me. No, but I'm watching football right now. Wait a minute, it's over. I'll talk to you then. And you're sleeping on the couch. Any woman's been accused of making a man miss a turnoff while she's talking to him because men have what the American Medical Association calls focus disease. So when a man's driving, you see it with your dad or your grandfather. Man's driving, all of a sudden he has to read a map. A man will pull off the side of the road. And the first thing he does before he reads the map, he'll turn the radio or the CD, whatever, he'll turn the noise off. A man can't think if there's noise. A woman could be cooking dinner, spaghetti's boiling, kids are yelling, TV's blaring, phone rings. She'll say, hello. Not a man. Man's home, and all of a sudden this stuff, he'll start yelling, hey, shut up, the phone's ringing, shut up, I bet the phone's ringing. He can't think and do that at the same time. You put 12 men in a circle, they take turns when they talk. It's not because they're polite. A man can't talk and listen at the same time. You put 12 women in a circle, they'll all talk and listen at the same time and not miss a thing. They'll hear every bit of it. People think you're making that up. No, it's a medical fact. God made men and women different. We come out different. But we're supposed to be a gift to one another. But if you don't know that, you start attacking one another. Well, my wife's an idiot. No, you're the idiot, big boy. Bless your heart. Oh, dear God. By the way, bless your heart, Southern, for you're stupid. We have the toothbrush test, and England did this again. And I've been in the Army. I've been, engineer. I've traveled. I've noticed men sharing the bathroom, whatever. When men brush their teeth, a woman can brush her teeth. She can be brushing her teeth, packing a school lunch, wiping down a kitchen counter, giving instruction to her kids, and not spit on anything. But 95% of all males, this is the American Medical Society, 95% of all men, if they're going to brush their teeth, if they're right-handed, they're going to brace themselves with their left hand. Research has shown that. He uses his right hand, and men do not move their toothbrush, they move their head. To the speed of the water coming out of the spigot. Research has shown if you talk to your husband, he's shaving, he'll cut himself 90% of the what do you want, woman? Dear God, I just want to talk. He has focus disease. Many a man's been at home, all of a sudden he's deciding to fix something, fix a creaky door, and the wife thinks, well, he's finally fixing something. And she says, hey, when you finish that door, would you fix this faucet? And most people, well, you let me finish with the door and I'll get to it, because a man's brain is like a huge set of mailboxes. He has a mailbox for work, deer hunting, bass fishing, sex. Where a man is the only place he exists. A woman has no mailboxes, the American Medical Society. A woman's brain is like a huge soccer field. Everything she's heard, said, and felt for the last 3 weeks is running around that field. Can come out of her mouth at any given moment. That's why many a man's asked, hey, honey, you pass the butter? And all of a sudden, she'll talk for 30 minutes like, dear God, honey, I just wanted the butter. I didn't want to know your whole life. When men problem solve, they have to get alone. And that's why he get on the back porch, he'll walk out in the yard, he'll go out in the barn, what's he doing? He's thinking. And so women will try to help him out. Sugar, is there any problem? What? Any problem? No. Are you worried about something? No. You look like you're worried. No. You sure you're not worried? I didn't think so. Was there something wrong? Maybe. I don't know. What do you think? Because I got a bobblehead doll that I put my face on years ago, and I hit that thing, dingy, 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 dingy. And to let me know, when my wife starts talking, my job is to stare at her. You're laughing, but I'm very serious. If there's a ball game on, if my wife starts talking first, I shut the TV off. Oh, you don't have to turn it off. No, I'm a man. I can only do one thing at a time. You're the most important thing in my life. I'm not going to bed with any of those guys tonight. I'm going to bed with you. You're my life. I can tape that. And so you learn to stare. So men have this focus thing. They can only think about one thing at a time, but a woman thinks about many things. So I tell the ladies, just give them time to finish something. Give them the next thing to do. Keep a list. Hey, sugar, you mind doing this? Well, no, I'd love to do that. Man he brought his friends over for the Super Bowl every year. And he had a nice den, big TV. And so they came to my seminar about 3 years in a row in the city I went to. And she said, he leaves that room a mess. I said, well, have them clean it up before they quit. Just tell them. Well, no, they get so involved in this. No, you need to tell them before the end of the game. She said, well, I don't know when the end of the game is. I don't know anything about football. I said, well, read something. So around the fourth quarter, just step into the den and say real simple, hey, sugar, I need you to clean the room up. And then back out of the room. True story. I'm not making this up. Well, she said she did that. She went, Hey, sugar, I need y'all to clean the room up before the game's over, okay? Nobody even looked at her. She steps out of the room. She's looking between the crack in the door. And so her husband didn't even flinch. Game's real intense, fourth quarter. All of a sudden, he went, and he stood up. He stood up, and he's watching the game. And he starts easing toward the door. Commercial break came. Ran to the kitchen, got trash. Hey, guys, pick this up. Clean this up real quick. Drop that down. They left that evening. She said, hey, honey, I really appreciate you cleaning up the room today. He said, what room? Don't ask a man to do anything, ladies. Honey, would you like to go visit Mom? Dear God, no. I said, walk into hell and back. I don't visit you, Mom. Honey, you want to go visit Fred and Nancy? Dear God, no. I don't want to go visit that. Ladies, you need to stay real calm. Sugar, get dressed. We're going to Mom's. Okay. Men do what they're told. But if you ask, hey, Sugar, tomorrow, can you pick up the kids after school? Dear God, no, I can't. I got time. I'm busy. Just say, honey, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, pick the kids up after school. Okay. You're allowed. Very serious. I'm serious. Men do what they're told, and they won't argue. But if you give him an option, dear God, no, I'm not doing that. I don't do it. Anyhow, let's give you just a few more. 3-year-old girls have twice the vocabulary of 3-year-old boys. When I was a school administrator, I'd go out on the playground and kindergartens, playground the first time in their life, playground. Girls cluster immediately. They don't know each other the first day of school. And they're going to play. Boys, they don't cluster. They just go out and stare at one another. Or they'll throw a rock at each other, or they'll hit one another. They don't talk. Around the 3rd and 4th grade, South Carolina passed a law, or attempted to pass a law about 12 years ago, to separate boys and girls through the 5th grade. Very radical. Because they learned something. Girls learn at a different pace than boys. They just do. And so boys are slowing down because around the 3rd and 4th grade in every public school in the world, boys become a problem around the 3rd grade. They become the class clown or the class bully or the class doofus. Why? They can't get any honor. Because I'm going to serve a brand new kindergarten teacher, just graduated college, first year. Now I told them this, and because of accreditation, I have to come in and observe you for 30 minutes. It'll be later in the day. Please do not acknowledge me. I'll slip in the back of the class. I have to write a report. Don't acknowledge me. So I slipped in the back of the class. First thing he said, boys and girls, turn around and say hello to Mr. McGee. Our principal's here. I thought, one mark against you. I told you not to do that. And so she's trying hard to do good. So she had a game set up, boys versus girls. I thought, oh, help us, Jesus. So she threw out a question. They've learned just enough they've been in school 2 weeks. They know some colors, shapes, and sizes. They know just enough to be dangerous. Well, the first question, she asked the question, well, boys come out of their desk. Me, call me, man. Girls just like, man, they're kind of hyped up. What's all this about? And so 70% of the time, a teacher will call on a male just to shut him up. And so she calls this kid at the back. He's right in front of me. Me, I know the answer. And she said, well, what's the answer, Johnny? A's the answer. And he said, oh, Johnny, I'm sorry, wrong answer. Who else has an answer? Now, she's looking for the other hands, and he's going down like the Red Baron in flames. Because had he thought that was wrong, he never would have raised his hand. The number one goal of all men is to not look stupid. That's why we wear our hat backwards and the breeches of a 400-pound man and we peel the tires out of a red light. We need some affirmation. Men need honor. It's the number one need of all males is honor. So the kids go, and all of a sudden 2 of us, but man, you're stupid. These are 5-year-olds. The kid's got tears coming down like Niagara. He's crying. The teacher's oblivious. And so a girl's got her hand up and said, yes, ma'am. I have an answer. What's the answer? The answer is B. Oh, wrong. Oh, I have another answer. A girl will give 12 wrong answers in a row and have a good time. Because they don't need honor, they just need to socialize. That's why girls move real fast up the food chain in school. Boys outnumber girls 13-1 in remedial reading classes in public schools in America. They're not dumb. They just move slower. Around the 9th grade, boys run off and leave girls in math and science. 97% of all patents registered in the United States are registered by men, not women. We both have our gifts. You need to do what you're good at, not what you're not good at. Now, I fly all the time. We do 67 hours a year plus. I do the same thing. When I get on a plane, got on the plane this morning early, I lay my hand on that plane and I bless it when I go in. I turn and I look in the cockpit. There's always somebody waiting. I look inside the cockpit, see who's flying. And there are a lot of female pilots now. So every time I see a female pilot, I sleep real good. You can ask my wife, I'm used to sleep before the plane takes off. I'm really relaxed. Because I know if there's a female pilot up there, we're going to do really good because she's using both sides of her brain. Because between 18 and 24 weeks in a mother's womb, I don't care if she has quadruplets, each sacc's different. God has designed a mama to produce a chemical bath that will wash over the developing brain of a baby boy, not a baby girl. And that chemical bath will destroy about 40% of the connections between the left and right hemisphere of a brain. So when boys are born, they're born either left or right brain dominated. Girls are born using both sides of the brain at full capacity. God is a creative God who's designed us to do different things which are really, really good at. That's why whatever you're good at, be good. I tell people, if I got a female pilot, I'm a happy guy. Because when it was just male pilots, you needed 2 of them up there. I'm making that up, but it sounded good, didn't it? I got women engineers I worked with. They're always smarter than men. They think faster. They think quicker. And they've had to compete in the business world because men don't like women in the business world sometimes. Now, it's changing, but it's been changing slow. Because I knew when I had 5 daughters, I said, listen, guys, the world doesn't like you. God loves you. You're just to do something great, and you're going to have to get in front of people to do something great. You have to influence other people. So I need you to be very confident in who you are. You need to know who you are. You don't have to be the smartest or straight A's or, on the debate team. You just need to show up. You're a blessing everywhere you go. You're going to be the salt and light of wherever you go. Your job's to leave people better than you find them. Every conversation you have, you should leave that person better than you find them. You're not a show-off. You're not arrogant. You're trying to leave people better than you find them. So all my daughters have college degrees. And people have judged me for it. Said, all your girls going to college? Every stinking one of them. Because I told them one time, they were in the 9th grade. My oldest daughter was in the 9th grade. They came home, and I'd gone to Walmart, and I bought these big black frames, double pane glass, put brass nameplates on the bottom for all 6 of my kids. It covered half the living room wall. Got one for Sarah, Jessica, Corey, Tess, Lauren, John. Kids came home, about to eat dinner. They walked in the living room and said, oh, Dad, what's that? Well, and before I could answer, oh, is that a collage? We're going to put pictures in there. I said, no, that's where you're going to hang your college degree. Oh, we're all going to college? Every one of you. Did God tell you that? No, your mother did. And so my second daughter said, well, what if we don't want to go to college? And they're all standing. I said, what? Well, what if we don't want to go to college? I said, well, I never thought about that. I guess if you don't want to go to college, I guess 20 years from now when you come back to the family reunion, you're going to have to explain to your 3 kids why you're the only doofus with a blank frame. Because the rest of them are going to go. And I told my kids, I don't care if you major in water, bowling, and basket weaving. Now, I'm an educator, but it's pretty much worthless. If you Google the Failures Hall of Fame, just Google Failures Hall of Fame. Google that. 1,206 biographies of people that never finished high school. Millionaires and billionaires. It's God's gift that makes room for you, not your IQ, not your degree, not your GPA. I'm getting ready to have knee surgery next week, and I want to make sure my doctor went to school, that he made good grades, because I need you to put it back together really good. There's some things that it's important, but most things, it's your gift. Your gift's going to make room for you. Bring for kings to make you well. What are you good at? Then get real good at it, and stay real good at it. And, fellowship with other people that are good at it. And people have made such a big thing out of education. There's many educated people today in America unemployed as there are other people. A degree won't get you a job. It won't get you a raise. It won't make people like you. But God will if we use your gift. We've all been gifted. And it starts out really with the marriage. God said, I love you, so I'm going to give you a spouse. Because you're kind of rough around the edge. She's going to chip that off for you. Whoa. For women, speech has one purpose, to build relationships. For men, one purpose is to relate facts. Again, women use 3 times more words than a man does. It gets kind of crazy on that. I'll read you this. This is a spatial ability. I'll close with this, spatial ability. These are degrees in which spatial ability is not a requirement. So biology teachers in America, 49% are men, 51% are women. Business teachers in America, it's 50-50, men and women. History teachers in America, 54% men, 46% women. Music teachers, 51-49, men versus women. Social education, 47-53, men and women. General studies, 53-40, it's almost even. But that changes when you get down to another thing. Spatial ability, because the way we think different. Again, there's crossovers in this, but as a whole. 98% of all nuclear engineers are males, not females. 98% of all pilots are males, not females. 94% of all air traffic controllers are males, not females. 91% of all architects are males, not females. 95% of all flight deck officers are males, not females. It's not better, it's just different. It's not better, it's different. Now, my engineer that I've used for years is a female, and she's real good, and I'll never use another because she's good at what she does. My accountant is a female. She's great with numbers, and there are a lot more male accountants than are female, but this woman, she's a genius. She can read stuff that you can't even think about. So I realized coming up, because especially in the South, women are supposed to stay home and cook, and men went out and they did all the stuff. So, no, we're going to kind of even this out. So I told my daughters when they got married, I want you to know that when you're a husband, because I'd have guys, I've had to help family members go through a divorce, and women, I remember the last one I dealt with. The guy had 2 degrees, really good, Nashville, Tennessee. His wife was really sharp, they had 3 kids, but she didn't have any education. And she threatened to leave him. And I'm counseling her. She said, what am I going to do? I don't have any education. What kind of job? I'm at work at Krispy Kreme, I guess, or 7-Eleven. I don't have any skills. And women get caught. So I told all my daughters, I said, I'm going to make sure you get a degree so you scare the snot out of your husbands. And I told all the boys that married in the family, listen, I'd bring them out of the house. I got to close this. I'm over. I brought all the guys out of the house that dated girls. I said, listen, you want to date my daughter? The answer is yes. I told my kids, anybody ask you on a date? Hey, can you go out Friday night? Yes, I can. But you'll need to call dad or mom. All my dates are screened through them. And so we eliminated a lot of wusses on that deal. Because I knew everybody in town. I'm the administrator. Everybody knows me in town. I've been there forever. And so guys called, said, Mr. Gad, I'd like to take your daughter out. I said, well, I need to see you before Friday night for about 30 minutes. Meet you after school, meet you after the ball game, meet you at the ball field, come out of the house, have a piece of pie. One kid came out of the house, had a piece of pie. So I see everybody for 30 minutes. I'm looking for the answer of one question. I'm looking for the answer of just one question. I said, son, what do you see yourself doing 5 years from now? That's the one I'm getting to. Everybody, I'm talking, how you doing? I love the game. Blah, 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 blah. How's your mom? What are you going to be doing 5 years from now? So here's what he said, pretty much verbatim. Nice kid, red-headed kid, nice kid. He said, well, I'm going to get a job at McDonald's down here in Bixby as soon as I graduate this summer. I'm getting a new Ford F-150 pickup, a Beretta 300 shotgun, and a new hunting dog. And that was his 5-year plan. And I said, well, son, you need to have another piece of apple pie. Because that's all you're getting at this house. Because my wife and I have trained up our daughters to help somebody going somewhere, and I'm fully confident where you're going, you don't need any help getting there. You can get there all by yourself. Because I've dealt with people, teenagers that got pregnant, went through stuff like, God's a forgiving, creative God. I mean, what kind of hell have you been through? God will make it 10 times better if you'll trust him. I mean, if you had to get married, if your spouse left you, if your dad beat you, if your mama abused, there's a God who loves to redeem the messed up stuff. He loves showing off. But you have to know that. And so they didn't go out there because my daughter hated me for 3 months. Dad, I loved him. No, you didn't love him. He's just a nice kid. And he really got married, and he's a great husband. They're doing great today, and I see him at church all the time. But what I normally did was come out of the house, and first 5 dates are with us as a family. You're not taking my daughter anywhere. I don't know you. Just because you're driving your daddy's car and wearing his boot and your mama washed your clothes, that doesn't mean anything. And so, because a husband is somebody who's willing to give his life for my daughter. And so even when my daughters got married, I had all my son-in-laws, potential. They had to bring 2 things. I said, I want to see your 5-year plan. Now, I've known them. They've been dating my daughters. I want to see your 5-year plan, and I need your last 12 months of bank statements and put them on my desk. Because the Bible says where your heart is, your treasure is. Where your treasure is, your heart is. You tell me you love my daughter. Well, I want to see where you've been spending your money since you've been dating for the last year. And if you've not been spending any money on my daughter, you don't love my daughter. You're a liar. Because where your treasure is, your heart is. You love bass fishing and deer hunting. You love skeet shooting. I don't think you love my daughter. And then the next thing I'm looking, are you a tither? Because this planet's under a curse. And the way you get up under the curse, you've got to be a tither. That's your 10%. That's Jericho. God's going to give the promised land to Israel. But Jericho was the first city of the promised land. There were 10 major cities now there's more than that, there are 10 major ones. Jericho was first. Said, listen, guys, I'm going to give you this land. The first city you go to is mine. I'm going to give you this city so you can give it back to me. I'm giving you Jericho, but you give Jericho back to me. I'm going to give you seed to sow. I'm giving you that. You get to get the other 90%, but I get the first 10%. And so they went in Jericho. You know what happened? They walked around for 7 days, blew the trumpet, the walls fell down. They burned everything up. They go to the next battle, the next city, and all of a sudden, 12,000 people got dead. Joshua's thinking, what happened? God was with us. You said you protect us. You said you love us. And he's praying to God and said, somebody stole my stuff. Joshua said, what? I told you Jericho was mine. I'm trying to give you this whole land, but Jericho's mine. I gave you Jericho to give back to me so I can give you the rest of the land. You got to sow some seed to reap a crop. And said, well, who stole it? So they had to cast lots. Of course, it was, Achan and his family. They put him in the middle of a circle, and they stoned him to death. They didn't make a movie out of it. Nobody would buy a ticket and see it. And so they stoned him to death. They buried him under some rocks. The next day, they had victory again. You cannot mess with God's system. God's got a great system. Men and women are supposed to be together. You're not the same. You're totally different. It's like going to Disney World, never coming home. We're riding rides. Woo! Every day you're going to say to your spouse, well, I didn't know that. Praise God, you probably did. Way to go, It's going to change. And so stay in love, hug one another, kiss every now and then. Eat a cheeseburger together, Just hold hands. Watch a movie, but not all the time. Relax with one another, Sleep in the same bed if you can. Kind of nice to do that, Flesh touching flesh. Even if you're passing gas, you just sort of get used to that. I think that's funny. Anyhow, let's stand up. Guys, we're going to learn some great things in the morning. Be back. We're going to have a good time. We're going to learn about communication, about money, and about sex. And I'm going to teach about sex in the morning. It's all biblical, but it's all out of the Bible, but it's running on the edge. It'll be running on the edge, but you'll like it. You really will. Father, we thank you for this time together, these wonderful people that have taken time out of their life. Lord, I pray the Word of God bears 100-fold fruit in their lives. Make them one together, not only as members of the body of Christ, make them one together as a family. I pray the love of God is shed around their hearts by the Holy Ghost. We thank you for him in Jesus' name. And everybody said, amen. Don't quote me when you leave. God bless, guys. Thank you for coming.